So Transnet has been one of the better performing, if not the best performing parastatal. Eskom desperately needs leadership. Is that why you're here?
Well, yes, there are some problems at Eskom that are now being resolved, as you're aware, with the CEO and some of the executive managers. But you must remember that Eskom does have leadership in the remainder of the EXCO, and these are people that go to work every day, and they're doing a good job trying to manage the situation as best as they can. Well, so I'm just going in there to join a team that is already in place.
When did you know about this? How did it happen?
Well, it was a discussion at the beginning of the week, and with the minister and about the possibility of doing this.
Do you take this job reluctantly? A CEO has been suspended recently. He's fighting that. Or do you take it knowing that you can go in and do something about the problems?
No, I do not take it reluctantly. I have been asked to go in and help to manage especially the current load shedding problems while the other issues are being resolved with the Commission of Inquiry and the suspensions and so on. I do not do it reluctantly. I take it very seriously, and we will be working at doing our best to manage the situation and bring it under control.
Lynn Brown today did say the current load shedding is something that you're going to look at. I guess it's a trade-off for any leader, because maintenance needs to be done as well. If that maintenance has to happen, if we have to have load shedding, is that what you're going to say, or is it going to be let's try and keep the lights on?
We're going to have to think out of the box, and I can only say after I've sat with the teams what it is exactly that we're going to do, but we have to find a solution.
What about the financial crunch? Looking at the numbers for a layperson, it just looks like it's an impossible situation. Eskom is making a small profit, just trying to keep the lights on. Many would argue that maybe Eskom should focus on that, and the huge infrastructure build should almost be off the books, funded from somewhere else. Do you have any opinions on those debates yet?
Not yet. We're going to sit down with the teams at Eskom. We're going to sit with the people in finance and the board and talk about a strategy for the financing of Eskom. As you know, the minister talked about it today, that the Treasury will be making available 23 billion. That will help. I'm not sure when that money is coming, but I'm not so concerned about the financials. That is a problem that we can resolve quite easily.
Mr. Molefe, does thinking out the box include the private sector? There's been calls for an unleashing, for everybody who can add to this grid, to be able to add, for anybody who can help Eskom's woes to be able to help.
Perhaps it will include increased involvement of the private sector, but you must remember that we should not take the private sector involvement as a dogmatic position where we have to do it as a matter of dogma. Neither should we keep Eskom in state hands as a matter of dogma. We're going to have to be pragmatic and come up with solutions that work, irrespective of the dogma from which they come from.
All right, what about leadership? Firstly, what happens to the acting CEO who you replace?
The acting CEO that I replace is a board member, a non-executive board member, and was made executive for the last month.
Okay.
And so he goes back to the board, and then I will be the acting CEO until further notice. And
you said that there's an EXCO in place. There is, but from the news, it would seem like there have been ructions, 3 suspensions. The chair of the board then didn't have the support of the other members of the board. You must be coming in and you must be worried about low morale. How do you start addressing that and steadying the leadership?
We're going to have to build a team. That is actually the biggest task, that we need to work as a team. We need to put the morale up. I am not going to fix the problems at Eskom. But as far as getting the morale up, getting the team functioning, that is something that I am, as a member of a team, willing to come in and assist with, almost like a coach. But it is not me that is going to do anything at Eskom. It is the existing people, the employees of Eskom, the people who have to go to work every day at Majuba and at all the power plants will have to continue doing what they're doing. We're going to have to somehow keep their morale up.
So lifting morale
and
will
we will need the support of the whole country to do this.
I was going to say, so lifting morale is part of it, and will you be giving constant messages to South Africans? I think everybody in this country is worried about the economy, about our future, about what this means for investment, what it means for our daily lives. I guess, what's your message to ordinary South Africans?
A little bit of patience. The problems of Eskom are not just the problems of government or the leadership of Eskom. They are the problems of us as a country, as South Africans. We need to exercise a little bit of patience. We're going to be trying our best as a team to minimize the current load shedding that is taking place, firstly. Secondly, to make sure that we have sustainable electricity supply to the whole country on a sustainable basis, on a daily basis. But we need the support and the active participation of the whole country. And so these messages that have been going through about conserving electricity and so on, we expect everybody to continue to do that and to give us support in that way.
Transnet now, let's just look at that briefly. Do you feel like Transnet is in a position where you can start focusing on Eskom? That's also important, the infrastructure, the focus on rail, the tenders that have been appointed. Do you feel that it can continue without you for a while, basically?
Yes, Transnet has sufficient traction and has actually gone beyond the point of no return in terms of going into a bright future. The locomotives will be delivered with or without me. The brand new locomotives, the locomotives will be delivered in South Africa with or without me. Transnet will continue the market demand strategy with or without me. So I think that Transnet is in a very good place. Transnet has good news coming out of it almost every month with new projects. On Monday, there are young people that are graduating from the Maritime School of Excellence. In 2 weeks' time, we're opening a new rule loop in Matlaba's Loop. The projects in the Port of Ngqura in Cape Town, on the Sishen-Saldanha line, on the coal line, are proceeding. And when we announce results this year, we will announce that we actually carried record number of volumes on rail. And I think that program is now beyond the point of return.
Can you say who will act in your place?
A decision will be taken over the weekend, and an announcement will be made on Monday. The board and the minister needed time to consult, to even talk to the people that...
Are you involved in that, giving recommendations, anything like that?
I have basically said that any of the group executive committee members is quite capable of acting and taking over the job. We have excellent leaders at Transnet. In fact, we worked as a team, and I was just the face of the team, fortunately for me, but it is a whole team, and there is nobody who's in the Group Exco who does not know what is happening and what the next steps are in terms of our plans.
If you've achieved what you would like to at Transnet, a response to what an analyst said today, that they'd prefer to know that you're the CEO of Eskom. Is there any talk about making this acting position permanent in future, and do you have any preference?
I think the appropriate time to talk about that will come. Firstly, the suspensions and the current issues with investigation and so on have to be off the table. And it is only when those are completed and there's agreement about what happens to the people that are suspended, whether they are coming back or not coming back, then only then can we talk about what happens next.
You're talking about the legal process that's going on. Also earlier we were talking about the investigations. The war room is still there. Cyril Ramaphosa has received advice from academics. I understand Eskom has put out a tender for auditors for an internal probe. Some say that that too much going on is actually a distraction when what we need is just to get the job done.
Yes.
Do you think it could be a distraction, or do you have any opinion on the minister's call for a probe?
No, I think that the executive is quite capable of being focused singularly on what the problem that is confronting us, and I think that everybody agrees that the single most important program to deal with at the moment is the load shedding. So the other processes will continue. Of course, the war room will give us guidance, the board will give us guidance, government will give us guidance, but as executives, what we are going to focus on is the issue of load shedding. We would like to minimize it as a matter of urgency.
So that's your first priority. Let's end off with
priority
that.
Number
is
A1.
that what you're going to dedicate all your time and focus
Yes,
on right
yes,
now?
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much for your time
Thank
this
you very
evening.
much.
That was Brian Molefe, the new acting CEO of Eskom.